working with you and the team and advance the mission.
Well, after that speech about recording, I just realized I hadn't hit the record button.
So should we all introduce again? No, just kidding.
That's right. So, but we're going to keep on going. So do I see this? Don Bowden, are you on?
Hey, Dixon. Yes, I am. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. So I'm glad you could join us. So, David, one of the things that we're trying to say to the DOTs is if you give us the information on your projects, you know, the application for payment, we can do an incredible thing in the capital markets. But it's not just the prime contractor. What we're really looking to is a general contractor can hire subcontractors, and its construction management system can share the same level of information as a Caltrans or a TxDOT. And so Don has been very active in the world, met through CURT, Construction User Roundtable Group, and the study they did at Texas in developing a next generation construction system in which literally is dependent on data interoperability and AI to maximize its potential. So Don, if you could describe a little bit the Building Connect and what you're looking to do with Building Connect and how it relates to the future of how we want every construction management system to be able to interoperate with other stakeholders.
Well, that's exactly it, Dixon. We're really serving as a integration platform where we can standardize data to the XBRL standard. And we have these transformation engines that will take whatever source data exists. It could be a DOT data or some construction general contractor company, and bring that data and standardize it across a standard data standard like XBRL. And what we're doing is we're creating an operational ontology. We're using Microsoft's latest ontology they're building on their platform now. We start out with Palantir, and now we're shifting to Microsoft, and so they've got a much more cost-effective option for replicating this operational ontology. So that's basically it, Dixon. We're serving as a data transformation and standardization network.
Well, and we've got a link to your platform on the FISTech website so people can look at it and see some of the demos. But I think what we're trying to demonstrate, David, is that our FISTech platform, which generates and creates XBRL documents, the idea is that it can exchange information with Building Connect, and Building Connect can exchange information with it. So that we can demonstrate interoperability between construction-related systems for however they want to use it. FISTech is using it for project management, risk management for sureties. The Building Connect project platform is obviously working for contractors and their risk management. So they're different uses, but so the contractor may fill out the application for payment in their system and send it to us, or we may have the application for payment data that gets sent to them. The idea is to show all of the construction software vendors, and our group there is the Construction Progress Coalition, as well as the CFMA and the AGC, trade associations that have trade association links with all the software providers. And we're demonstrating to them how any system can plug and play with this open standard that is really focused on just the application for payment. But you can imagine once we can solve the application for payment as far as a model for how to get incorporated into the XBRL taxonomy, and not only that, into the NIBS family and ultimately under the ISO family so that everybody feels confident. You know, the ISO standards are all over the place. I mean, the bankings are the 222 standards for financial enterprise, which we're working with the banks. Because the application for payment, obviously, it hits the banks when they make the payment. So the intersection across multiple trade associations is what the working group is trying to do and to bring clarity. And I've been working at it for a long time. Al has been working on it for a long time, and Phil and everybody's been there. But right now, I think what we want to do is give credibility to the initiative so that, you know, we can formally say, yes, there is a formal working group, and it is formally looking to get this data set interoperable across banking and across bank planning, procurement, permitting, you know, the whole life cycle of building. and really unleash all the people that are developing AI tools, in which, I spent yesterday with Senator Warner in Silicon Valley with all the AI folks. And, the future ahead of us is really quite exciting, but its potential is constrained by the quality of data the AIs will be able to analyze. And so if we don't get it right and create the ability for open standards to prevail, then proprietary systems will fill the void.
Yeah.
And there is a sense of urgency. And so when we formed this working group and we leveraged the name of BIBs and NIBs, and we leveraged the path to ISO, we think a lot of people will not only join, but contribute and start to engage and exchange that data set for however they need it and however they use it. The other one I wanted to introduce, if I may, Scott. Scott is a client of ours in which we are offering basically the surety-based risk management for his development of some construction activity. And Scott, you don't have to go much into it, but just say hello.
Hello, everyone. I do want to say I'm interested in everything everybody's already talked about. I've used every aspect of everything, so I appreciate working with each of you. We develop projects, and then we have one of our partners is a GC, so we carry all the way through that. A lot of experience all the way through from beginning to end. And the idea of looking at being able to do this, I don't know if any of you have ever been on closing a project, going COD, and trying to herd all the monkeys or herd all the cats, as Dixon likes to say, into one area to get the close to come through. It's a financial nightmare. It takes forever. Who agrees on what document? Who agrees on what terms? Trying to get all those pieces together. And I'm really looking at this streamlining and making the whole process quicker and cleaner.
So, David, our request of Jay is to give us the legitimacy of a working group that is actually recognized by NIBS, so that when people join, it's not about, the Buck Rogers show with me or one person or a proprietary. It really is a convening of multiple stakeholders toward a common interest, which is perfectly set up thanks to Al Berkeley and Mark Warner when they did the Data Act way back when, and the follow-up, and the incredible work that Phil has been doing at the DT Rich Center as part of the digital twin community that brings in the National Science Foundation as well. So, we'll hold regular working group calls, and we will formally create readouts for Jay. But Jay said something in the initial call. He said, NIBS works best as a ghost. And I think that's exactly who we're looking for. We don't need a lot of activity from Jay or whatnot. We have plenty of subject matter experts. We know how to get a review and comment process through XBRL. We know what to do. We're not asking for NIBS to have an active role in managing the affairs, but to do what it does best, convening multiple stakeholders towards common goals, providing guidance and nudging here and there to achieve the nation's interest. So I appreciate you being on the call, because I know what we're talking about seems like we're boiling the ocean. To a certain extent, we are.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, the ocean is already boiling. The data standards are already there. The AI companies are already out there. Everybody's already out there. What we just need to do is connect the dots to make sure that best practices prevail. So
yeah, I completely agree, and I appreciate you introducing everyone and giving me some background on the effort so far. I'd like to take a minute to also maybe give you guys a brief on the Digital Technology Council. It is a council that it's part of the NIBS, I guess, councils and solutions. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it is an evolvement from the BEAM program that NIBS had in the past. So last year and this year has been really an effort to restructure and kind of come up with a new vision for encompassing all of these areas within the digital space, right? So really the mission of it is to advance digital transformation for the built environment through delivery of consensus-based industry standards, research, and thoughtful leadership focusing on value-driven outcomes. So it really echoes basically what you guys are working on so far. Now, the vision of it, of the Digital Technology Council, is conveying industry to adopt and empower transformative digital technology strategies across stakeholders, raising the bar for professional services that drive improved project delivery and operational processes. We have a NIBS group, staff group that supports us, led by Jay. It was led by Roger in the past, but Jay is now taking the lead. And we also have a NIBS board liaisons. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the NIBS board, but Evelyn Fujimoto, Sandra Benson, and Derek Harmon are the board members that liaise between the NIBS staff and or the NIBS board and NIBS staff per se. And then on the executive committee, we have Alex Belkoffer. He's with McCarthy Building Companies. He's the chair. I am David Morales. I am the vice chair. I work for a company called Salas O'Brien, also an AE company. And then we've got Sweta, who is the secretary, and she is with Kaiser Permanente. So we've intentionally distributed, I guess, the roles between owner, design, and construction, so that everyone has kind of a bring their own perspective.
Mhm.
As part of the restructuring of the DTC, we've worked on establishing 3 areas of priority. The first area that we identified was digital delivery, and I think all of the stuff that you guys are talking about really falls under digital delivery. I think there's an ongoing effort to connect the 3 priorities that the Digital Technology Council has, but I think it would make the most sense for this group to be under the Digital Delivery Committee.
Yep.
The other area of focus that we've identified is the field technology area. So, advance the adoption, integration, standardization of technologies that transform how data is captured on the field, validated, shared across the built environment, connecting the field and the office through interoperable digital tools, bridging the gap between design, construction, and asset management. And then the third area is the digital twin area. And there was an effort over the years where NIBS published a digital twin paper. And I think that the idea and the goal is to maybe look into creating standards for digital twins. It's not there yet. We've only published a paper for it. So again, the goal or the purpose for that group is to define and promote a practical standards-based framework for digital twin implementation across the built environment by aligning industry standards, interoperable data practices, and proven use cases. That committee also will enable consistent adoptions and measurable value through clear frameworks, change management guidance, and return on investment validation across the building lifecycle. So those are the 3 priorities that the Digital Technology Council has identified, and each of them have working groups. The Digital Delivery Committee is led by Aaron. I believe you included him in the invite. Aaron Costin. He works for Florida University, I believe.
Okay.
University of Florida, I believe. Let me see. Yes, he's an associate professor, Smart Construction Informatics SCI Lab at University of Florida. He was in the process of finalizing his steering committee. So we've got folks from WSP and several other organizations that are being invited to that. If any of you are interested in joining that leadership committee, I see that may be beneficial for it. And then as part of the Digital Delivery Council, the Digital Delivery Committee, there are several working groups like the National BIM Standard version 4 committee or working group. And now you guys would eventually be part of that committee as well. So that's kind of like a roundup of the efforts that have been done so far, and I think a lot of the things that you guys mentioned really resonate well with both the mission and vision that the Digital Technology Council has for advancing the industry.
Well, that's right. And there's a great quote from John Muir. Basically said, everything in the universe is connected. So data connects everybody, and that application for payment literally touches everybody everywhere. It's the broadest engagement. I don't care if you're a sub, a supplier, a general, an architect. There's a contract and there's a performance that's measured by the application for payment. We do think it creates a digital delivery of information that can be delivered really to a wide range of stakeholders to really improve a lot of things. The other thing we've asked for Senator Warner's engagement, we've also reached out to Treasury. Are you familiar with the T list?
Briefly, but
yeah, it's a PDF that the Treasury puts up that lists the sureties, and it as far as being acceptable by the federal government. So it's used by everybody, all the public agencies. Everybody uses it to qualify or who's qualified to act as a surety. And it has the name and the phone number and their address. Travelers. As you can imagine, nobody's going to telephone travelers to find out about a policy, right? So it's just a static piece of paper. And what we recommended them to do is modernize it with two things. You're talking about digital delivery. One is the LEI. You're familiar with the LEI, the legal entity identifier?
Yep.
Really important for transparency on projects. The LEI, of course, is much better than the NEIC number on the Treasury list because the NEIC is just that insurance carrier, where the LEI is not only the insurance carrier, but the entire ownership of the carrier. And, it's a digital representation of ownership. But on top of that, the NEIC is only for insurance companies. The LEI is for everybody. So by incorporating the LEI into the construction process, from the surety to the bankers to the supply chain, there's a huge transparency improvement on who's on these projects, which is something that everybody's been really focused to achieve. The second one this is key on the delivery side, is that the Treasury list, if it could put on there the URL for the surety's validation of their own bonds, then the surety could simply put up a URL for their own database, and any stakeholder who wanted to validate a bond could use the T list to direct their inquiry to the proper insurance company, and that insurance company return a complete data set. So a single bond number can get you the entire data set you'd need to put into your construction management system, like Don's system at Building Connect, that includes the email address, the NAIC number, the LEI numbers, all the information that would be too hard to get manually, but it's easy to pass as long as it's in the system. And so if Treasury modernizes the T list, the delivery of the surety bond shifts from a 3-day process with FedExes and wet signatures and notaries to all verify who signed the bond, was authorized to sign the bond. to a simple API call to the surety company, and it returns the entire data set. So the DOT or Dawn system or a Procore Timberline could literally get all the information they need. But more importantly, David, it connects the surety to the project and the project to the surety. And it's that connection that creates a digital ecosystem. And so once they know each other, then if the job starts having issues, stop notices and liens, it can notify the surety early for early mitigation. And likewise, the surety can check on the status of a project. If a contractor is asking for more bonds or asking for another project, it improves the underwriting of the surety so that the people who get bonded contractors know that the surety had more information, better information to qualify the customer that you're hoping to interact with as a contractor on your project. So the surety becomes a lot better at qualifying, but also in early mitigation. And all of that is because it's the digital delivery of information, the digital delivery of a digital bond that connects the project to the surety and the surety to the project, and the digital connection of applications for payment for any of the stakeholder to be able to get a digital delivery of project information. And so it really is really quite encompassing. And so one of the other people that have inspired me through the years, Charlie, I'm welcoming you to our group. So Charlie is with Salesforce, and our application is built on a Salesforce application. And you can imagine, David, how many software people are out there programming on Salesforce platforms that are involved in the built environment someplace. So Charlie's been very helpful in having Salesforce be one of the collaboration partners to make sure that what gets developed helps everybody. And so all the Salesforce programmers will be able to plug and play just as anybody else programming on anywhere else. And so Charlie is the dream maker at Salesforce. So that's why we keep talking to him. Charlie, I want to introduce you to David Morales. David works in the NIBS group for the digital initiatives. And Jay's asked him to join our conversations to see whether or not they can support forming a formal working group.
Great. Nice to meet you and everybody. I think I see some familiar faces here. Sorry, I have to apologize. We're at a big Salesforce show here in Toronto, and I wanted to join to eavesdrop a little bit anyway.
Well, thank you. Jay asked me to start recording these. We had the first one, as you know, much more freewheeling so that people could speak freely. But so we're starting to get formalized now, so we'll get a readout afterwards, and you'll be able to see what you missed, not only on this call, but others. And we're going to repeat it again tomorrow so that I can get as much information to anybody who's curious.
Okay, great. Maybe I'm being a distraction, so maybe I should get off this call then.
No, it's great. I think we're just kind of wrapping up. Unless Max, did you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions right now.
Okay, no, I was going to. I was asking Max.
Apologies, I just joined late, half an hour late. I heard part of what you were talking about, but no action at the moment or a question. Thank you.
But you were there yesterday, so that's okay.
Okay.
And then, I think we're done unless anybody had any questions. I've sent out enough material, reading material. We don't have to take up everybody's time on these Zoom calls. But that's all I have. If anybody has anything else, we'll sign off.
Yeah, Dixon, just very quickly respond to what David just mentioned about the digital console they have over there and on the different types of standards, especially on digital twin and this one that you're working to initialize. I think that would be great. Yeah, we would love to contribute anyhow, any way that we could. So David, let us know if there's any need on that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the next steps to get formally I guess incorporated into the digital delivery committee and the digital technology council is to get the executive committees to agree and to welcome you formally. From what I've heard today, I think there's a lot of synergy. You guys are already thought through a lot of the things specifically around data and the finance side of things. So I think that it sounds very promising. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the enabling legislation that created NIBS. I think you guys have made the right choice to approach the National Institute of Building Science because it is written by law that NIBS should develop or I guess convene industry and stakeholders to enhance the industry. And there is one particular area around technology that we can leverage, right? So I'm super excited to everything that I've heard so far, and I look forward to welcoming you formally as we continue introducing these to the rest of the group.
All right, well, we have an industry conference on the 17th, I think is the Surety Industries Technology Conference. And obviously, we're one of the topics, and obviously digital is part of one of the topics. So not to put any pressure on you, but if it could be formalized before then I would be able to use that opportunity to invite all the insurance companies that are there and all the brokers and all our peers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sorry, what did you say the name of the conference was?
The National Association of Surety Bond Producers. It's a joint conference with the Surety Fidelity Association. It's our industry. It's the Surety Industries annual conference.
Okay.
And so the technology committee meeting is on the 17th.
Okay, and where is that happening at?
It's in Colorado Springs, in Denver. I mean, in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh yeah, I think we should definitely have a decision before that. I think you're doing a good effort on holding 2 sessions for those that haven't been able to join. What I would recommend is I guess connecting with Aaron Costin, since he is the chair for the Digital Delivery Committee. Yeah, and I'll touch base if Alex doesn't join tomorrow. I'll touch base with him. I have a one-on-one with him, so I can discuss.
McCarthy?
Beg your pardon?
You say he's with McCarthy?
Yes, with McCarthy.
Yeah, our ask of McCarthy is I don't even know what system they use, whether it's Timberline, Sage, or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We know that their system has subcontractors, and we know that subcontractor has their subcontractor payment information.
Absolutely.
If the McCarthy system could provide an export in XBRL, the same way we're asking our DOTs to do, then every general contractor that's working with the government would be able to share with the government that the XBRL is being used through the whole supply chain. So when McCarthy submits a payment request to the federal government, it could use the application for payment. But that application is an aggregation of a series of XBRL data sets, allowing for the integrity of the data to literally go the entire contract stack. And so if McCarthy did that as part of our initiative, then everybody would go, well, I could do that too. And yeah, that's the message.
Yeah, right. Lead by example, right?
Oh, yeah. And so ironically, you mentioned Kaiser. At the meeting I was at yesterday, Rudolph and Sletton was there, and they were talking about what they're doing for AI on their project for Kaiser. And so I asked him if he would be willing to be part of to bring Rudolph and Sletton in Kaiser project for showing how subcontractors can be administered digitally. And here you mentioned McCarthy's Kaiser, so that would be even better to have Kaiser 2 generals, and Kaiser is accepting the same application for payment for both systems, which are both different. That would be a very compelling case. And all it has to do is for people to say, well, I can do that, which they can. And then
what do you envision? Let me ask you a question. What do you envision would be the implementation for design firms?
The API to a DOT for the application for payment would be the same as an API to McCarthy. It says, hey, this job is in your database. It's my contractor. The subcontractor is my guy. Can I please have my data on my guy's job?
I
So
see.
the API
What about the engineer or the architect? How do they connect?
Well, in our model, everybody who's on the agreement can see the agreements.
I
Okay,
see.
they're permissioned by virtue of them being on the agreement. So if you logged into our deal, but remember, our deal is meant as a model to demonstrate how to do it, to catalyst other people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never going to be a commercially viable because we give away the code. Pretty
Yeah.
hard to have a commercial product when you give away the code for people to replicate you.
Mm-hmm.
But the purpose of the replication, obviously, is that's what we got paid for under the orange button. That was our model to show how it could be done. So in here, we would show McCarthy and we would show Rudolph and Sletton. This is how an API call goes for an application for payment.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the idea is if you're an insurance company, there should be no difference if you're getting data on a subcontractor or a prime, a supplier or a vendor, doesn't matter. It becomes ubiquitous across all industries.
Mm.
I mean,
I'd like to, Dixon, I just want to make one clarification from my understanding, and maybe I heard it wrong the way Dixon was saying, but the way I understand it from Dixon, the contracts can be transparent upstream, but they're not transparent to everybody else on the platform.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's only onto the ones that the responsible parties that are needing to see the contracts and the language.
Yeah, no, there's a need to know on every stakeholder. And so a vendor he needs to know his application for payment. He doesn't get to see anybody else's. An architect, which is responsible for the application for payment for the prime, the general may decide whether or not he has access to subpayments or whatnot.
I see.
Permissions is going to be one of the biggest issues because permission also ties to the number one issue that we're really freaked out about, and that's cyber. Because the number one thing that hackers go after is the money. So the application payment is certainly the most attractive thing out there. So when we're talking about data interoperability, we have to match it with a very secure system. And so the cyber protections have to be very, very strong. So the cyber element also deals with permissions. So
the payment's not going to be processed through this. It is just going to note that the payment was processed, right?
Well, ultimately, the payment's going to be processed from a bank or it's going to be processed.
Right.
And now with the crypto, right, we're talking about cryptocurrency being employed. So the the Genius Act and the Clarity Act will have the data elements for what that digital twin is and what that digital asset is. So, the data moving from point A to point B, it depends on what the data is and what your permissions are as far as your access. But, the application for payment ultimately is going to be a very attractive target to see if you can't find the funds to be redirected. So we have a zone group on cyber on that part as well.
Interest. I appreciate the clarification. My mind just starts thinking about all the stakeholders and involved in some of these huge projects. There's multi stakeholders with different needs and different need to knows. I think of like developers, owners, facility managers,
Oh yeah, and that's where NIBS plays such an important role as a convener.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil's done an
All
amazing
three of
job at
those.
CMU. And
David, I represent all three of those people those groups you mentioned. And so it's critical, but I'm not that on every project, but I can be all three on a single project or pieces. So what you're saying is very critical for me.
Mm.
So Roger, thanks for joining. Roger is the one who was introducing me to NIBS when we met at a HEAPS conference. So we blame Roger for all this. Or I could blame Alfred. So thank you for joining the call.
Roger, you're muted. Good to see you.
Thanks, Dixon. Hi, David. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, good to see everybody. Just thought I'd drop in. Had a conflict at the beginning, but yeah, trying to help move things along and assist with this level of standardization that I think's got some real exciting possibilities around connecting financial world with the engineering, architectural, construction world, and helping to drive things we've been trying to accomplish on that side for a long time. So,
well, it would be fun to pull it off. Oh, Dan, thank you for joining us. Dan is with the Digital Twin Consortium, and Dan held this conference in San Francisco where if I hadn't attended that, I wouldn't have met Phil, and Phil wouldn't be on the call, and we wouldn't be here either. So, Dan, thank you for joining us.
No problem at all. Apologies joining late, but I just came from another meeting. There's a conference, it's called SMAC It. It's around space mission control, and they scheduled it right on top of that. So we're trying to get set up for a workshop in that area. Phil, I want to talk to you about that too, and maybe even Dixon from some of the data context as well.
Did you say that was with NASA?
It's JPL, it's NASA. It's actually an IEEE conference. It's Space Mission Control and IT.
Well, you would have loved at our in-person meeting on the 23rd. We had somebody from the Astronomical Society that is basically working with Google. So you remember Google Earth that became streets and Google Maps? Well, they're doing it now in space.
Interesting.
And so they're mapping the space for the commercialization of space, because when they're building these projects that basically mine minerals off of asteroids or the moon, those are digital twins. And so they gave us a talk. This is at Stanford. They have a whole unit there on commercialization of space. And the gentleman there, Scott Hubbard, who used to run the Mars mission, was describing the infrastructure that's going to be needed to get to Mars.
Of course.
There is no difference in the infrastructure to Mars. You have to hire people to build things, and then you track its performance. So whether or not it's an asteroid mineral extractor or a moon landing, or it's a school or a solar project, it's all ultimately digital assets that ultimately have to be managed by a wide range of stakeholders for whatever their needs are. And so the Digital Twin Consortium has done an amazing job, David, if you're not familiar with them, in bringing together a whole group. It's been an incredible convening platform. And them partnering up with EDM and OMG just make even a stronger unit, which is why we're excited to have them and David kind of taking a lead on the finance side. And David, I'm sure you're familiar with Calvin Cam and the group at SBI.
Yep. I am, yes.
So between the two of them, the construction and the building smart and the finance side of the OGM and Digital Twin Consortium, I think we can really provide anybody who joins this working group with the type of leadership that provides confidence that they are actually subject matter experts, and that the end result will be something positive for everybody who participates, and even who doesn't participate, because the open standard is going to create a digital ecosystem that will allow people to plug and play, and we can just watch the innovations go crazy. And so, David, you play a part role. Don, you're a huge role. Charlie at Salesforce with all the programmers that do something with this information play a key role. Alfred, your job originally to create the Data Act and all the rest wouldn't be here. And Phil, I mean, everybody plays a role. But what I'm always amazed about is how many people don't know each other, particularly since they're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And if they have the same last name.
So we'll just continue this conversation. And ultimately, we look forward to David and Roger, if you give me formal acknowledgement that I can say the working group is something I can share, then we'll start to invite the collaboration partners we've been cultivating to join, and we'll start the process.
Now we got Alfred. Hello, Alfred.
How are you?
I'm doing well. We
Absolutely.
need to follow up on a couple of things. I'll be in Houston on the 22nd, by the way.
I'm sorry you broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I'll be in Houston on June 22nd, 24 for Innovate Energy. I'm giving a keynote there. So we should try and connect before then.
Yeah, be glad to do that.
Excellent.
All right, everybody.
Thanks,
Give you
Dixon.
10 minutes back.
Oops.
Unless anybody has any final questions or comments?
Good to see everybody. Thanks.
Good to see you guys.
Likewise. Hey, Max.
Thanks, everybody.
Likewise.
Hey, Dan.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.